Well, here we are, friends and listeners. We have reached the end of our 7th year, and we're gonna wrap up 2017 how we began, talking about the Nintendo Switch. It's been out for 9 months at this point, and it has been a tremendous success for the Big N. So much so that it's currently on pace to sell more units than all of Wii U by around spring of next year. So on this episode, we'll talk about our favorite games thus far, what we like and don't like, and what's on the horizon for this system for 2018. So listen in once more as we give to you our season finale, the Nintendo Switch, next on Downloadable Content. Hello everyone, welcome to Downloadable Content. I am Brian, and with me we have Nick, and Nick.
Yes, and yes.
It is the Nick and Brian show for this season finale of Downloadable Content. We may have a Ron, we'll see what happens. Surely he wouldn't want to miss out on what would be his 99th episode, but if he does, then, well, you're just going to have to suffer for the two of us for at least the next 90 minutes. I'm sorry. So, that's just how it turned out. But yes, we will be talking about the Nintendo Switch on this Season 7 finale of Downloadable Content. But before we dive into that chat, just want to remind every one of you out there that every single episode of Downloadable Content can be found on our website at dlcpodcast.com. It is also on iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, and Google Play Music. Check out the website. Since this is the last episode of 2017, pay attention to the website because probably around end of December, early January, I will be putting up the recording topics for the start of Season 8, which will begin around the end of January. Early February, right around there. So be sure to check us out there. Again, dlcpodcast.com. So, yes, we are going to come full circle. We started Season 7 talking about the Nintendo Switch, which at the time was unreleased, but had only just recently, at that point, been announced. You know, for years, well, it seemed like years. All we heard was about
only like one.
Yeah. It felt like it because, you know, we kept hearing rumors and whispers about what is the NX? The Nintendo NX. What is it? I've never known so much about what wasn't, I've never known so much about what wasn't happening with Nintendo's next system. And then like 5 months before it got released, Nintendo's like, yeah, here it is. And was just like, oh, wait, what? We didn't really have a whole lot of time to get excited because it felt like announcement and then boom, release.
Yeah, we finally got like a first look at the system in freaking what, January? That we finally got to see, you know, the Switch, the size, the Joy-Cons, or I call them Wiimote lights.
Basically.
And, you know, we had no time to really get prepared for because, you know, all this gets announced, I believe in like January, early January. I think it was right around like my birthday. And then, you know, March 3rd, here it is. You had no time to get ready for it, but they came out guns a-blazing this year, did they not?
Oh my God, they were ready, and you know, just they officially announced the Switch in October 2016. So, and it was like, wait, what?
Well, yeah, so January was probably just like all the games, developer notes and whatnot. We got the trailer, what eventually became Super Mario Odyssey, Splatoon 2, ARMS, which was, what the fuck, enhanced, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and of course, Breath of the Wild, which ended up being, I think, one of the best games this year. I think right up there with PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, I think, competing for that top spot.
Yeah, right now, Breath of the Wild is the Switch's best-selling game.
At, like, almost 5 million units, something like that.
Yeah, the fact that, it's about close to 5 million units against over 7 million Switches. That's incredible.
And don't forget, some people bought more than one copy.
Yeah,
people bought those shiny collector's editions and then proceeded to not open them.
Yeah, for the first couple of months of the Switch's release, there was a period of time where there were more Breath of the Wilds out there than there were Switches.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, how do you have over a 100% attach rate?
Yeah, that was very confusing at first. Well, not really confusing. I kind of figured people would do something like that, just because collector's editions, and especially with all the hype that Breath of the Wild got leading up to its impending release. I think this is one of the few times where a major delay like this game ended up really helping it in the long run.
I do agree, and, because of just the short turnaround time between official announcement and release, we didn't have to suffer through a year plus long cycle of speculation and what ifs. I mean, that's what we opened this season with, the what ifs, but at that point, we'd only known about the system officially for 2 months.
Yeah, 2-3 months.
Yeah, so
precisely.
You couldn't do a whole lot of speculation, but because we were getting ready for, it's like, okay, it's coming out in 2 to 3 months. What are we getting? It's like we didn't have this, what seemed like an endless cycle of prognosticating with, say, the PS4, the Xbox One. It was like announcement and then boom.
Nintendo's been doing a lot of this very fast turnover rate recently, that just this past year alone, of just, okay, here's the trailer and you have at most 6 months to get ready for its impending release. Mario, I think the longest was like 9 months for Odyssey. But otherwise, it's like, Splatoon 2's announced, and it comes out in June. You have 5 months to get ready. You have 2 months to get ready for Breath of the Wild. You have a month to get ready for ARMS. You have, Kirby was announced, back in September, I believe, and we have, I think, 6 months before that comes out. So, I mean, it's been very fast turnover rate. You have really no time to get yourself, hype and speculate and all that before it's on your doorstep.
Yeah, and I kind of like that, because that sort of tells me that development on these titles are most of the way through.
Yes, you can definitely see it in the trailers themselves of, this looks playable today. And it shows how far along they've really been on this project. Nintendo seems... it seems like they've gone whole hog in making sure that there's any development hell that something that a franchise might go through stays behind the scenes, and we know very little about it, which is kind of odd, because the Wii U was probably one of the leakiest systems we've had in some time.
And also, I mean, I think Nintendo is, I would like to think that, but it does appear evident that they've learned at least a little from the mistakes they made on the Wii U, because just the sheer number of or lack of news or releases. Like, it felt like the Wii U came out and then there were crickets for years, and then toward the end of its life cycle, Nintendo was just like, "We're sorry. Here's everything."
Well, and I think the biggest problem was, at least for the Wii U, I think it was mostly a timing issue, because the 3DS was really starting to accelerate at even a faster pace than what a lot of people anticipated. And Nintendo wanted to capitalize on that and capitalize on its portability. And I think a lot of these big name projects ended up going to the 3DS instead of the Wii U. And it was just kind of this case of being so divided over one or the other. And now, since Nintendo has consolidated both its console and portable markets into one area, and there's almost nothing coming down the 3DS pipeline now, almost everything is Switch related, that now we're seeing, at least one, I would say one major title per quarter, starting with Zelda Breath of the Wild, then Splatoon 2, now Mario Odyssey. Now for the winter you have Xenoblade 2, and they're trying to do like the steady drip of titles, and I think that's going to be better for Nintendo in the long run, instead of trying to go, all right, try and get all these titles ready for the holidays so people just have, everything to burn on the holidays, and instead go, no, people will actually have their cash at other times of the year. It's not just for Christmas.
Yeah, and we've seen, and it's so far that's been very, very successful for Nintendo. I mean, right now, as of the end of September, that's the most recent numbers I find, there have been, well, now it's probably well over 8 million at this point. There were 7.63 units sold as of September 30th. Now with the holiday buying spree in full swing, that is probably well over 8 million at this point. They are on pace to just blow the Wii U sales right out of the water.
Well, the Wii U was, 13, 14 million units?
Yep.
And they probably will get that by March.
Yeah, it's on pace so that, by around March, definitely spring of next year. So within a year of its release, it'll blow the Wii U out.
Yeah. And again, I think it's really refocusing on the vision and, coming out with a strong install base. Because there's no sense of releasing a system. They made this mistake with the 3DS too, although they've recovered since, of you gotta have games to come with the system. And no games, and you're really not going to push sales, or you're going to have a huge apology with a bunch of free games 6 months after its release.
Yeah.
So Nintendo really did come out more or less guns a-blazing with, I haven't played this myself, but I've heard Snipper Clips has been a wildly popular title, fun and quirky. I know you really didn't play because you didn't have a Wii U, but Mario Kart 8 Deluxe came out and got a whole new install base for that game.
Myself included. I'm still playing it.
Right. It's fun to just hop into every now and again. Splatoon 2 has, also a very nice install base, over 3.5 million units, and I think we'll probably make, some smaller esports circles. I think would definitely, I don't know where I was going with that. Definitely be something, especially since Splatoon 2's got like that, team versus team format of you can have your team set and then you can face off against another team of 4. You could just have your friends versus total strangers. And I definitely like trying to show that teamwork, and they have that weird ass mic app, which really, who's going to use that? But Nintendo has really shown like that for the most part. It seems like they've learned their lessons.
It definitely does appear to be. I mean, I will say this. I mean, I'm just looking at what the top 5 Nintendo Switch games have been to this point. Breath of the Wild is number 1. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is number 2.
Right.
You know, then Splatoon 2, ARMS, and then 1-2 Switch round out the top 5. So,
and that's and the sales here, show end of September. So we haven't even gotten the Mario Odyssey numbers yet, and I'm sure that's going to be several million units. I wouldn't be surprised at all if it gets up near Splatoon 2 type numbers.
Oh yeah, I mean, I really want Mario Odyssey, and we'll talk about games in a little bit. But right now, I'm in my my wife imposed cutoff. Yeah.
April's like, that's it.
Basically, because I have a November birthday, my wife and we've been together 13 years, and this is every year. After October 15th, I can no longer buy anything for myself. Otherwise, April.
Oh no!
Yeah. So I get screwed for these holiday releases because I'm like, I'm looking at what's coming. I'm like, oh, Mario Odyssey, oh, Xenoblade 2. Oh, I want these games, but I can't buy them. April's gonna have no wish list. So, our friend Ben is talking to me about Mario Odyssey, and I'm like, oh, that's nice. I wish I could play it. So whatever games that we're talking, Mario Odyssey, which came out recently, Xenoblade Chronicles, Xenoblade 2, which came out this week, as of this recording. All these games that are on my wish list, whatever ones I don't get, then come December 26th, they will be mine.
You already have everything just like ready to go. You're chomping at the bit.
Basically, I'm just like, all right, we'll see what I get if anyone gets me any of the Switch games that are on. But if not, December 26th, I'm buying this one and this one. I'm ready. I mean, yes, I do have other Switch games to keep me company, but, I mean, it's Mario Odyssey, and I really, really enjoyed Xenoblade 1, so I'm actually really excited for Xenoblade 2. But yes, to your point, the steady release of major titles, third-party titles, and indie titles as well, we'll get there, they're really, really helping to maintain a high level of interest. And also, the fact that the Switch is $300, which I think is the cheapest of the three, unless PS4 and Xbox One took a price cut for the holidays.
The PS4 Slim is, I think slightly cheaper. Let's have a look here.
All right.
Because I know they had like huge, reductions for the for Black Friday, obviously. Let's have a look. I know the PS4 Pros are still $400 because that's what I've got.
But
PlayStation.
It's...
And no, these are the Pros. Come on, where the hell is Slims? Find manual search, go.
Yeah. You do that.
Yeah, 300. So about the same, more all in. So, but still, the one thing that the Nintendo Switch has that the Xbox and the PS4 just don't have is the portability. And yeah, we can bitch about the low battery life. I know if you're playing Breath of the Wild, you're lucky you can get 2.5 hours out of the portable charge. But the fact that you're able to, to have portable gaming that really you don't get any reduction in graphical quality, in frames per second. It really is one of the most seamless transitions I've ever seen from a video game console that I never thought would have happened in my lifetime. You know, maybe if we're like 55 and, you know, well past our gaming prime, and we're playing the PS20s and but to my point, I just, that seamless transition of, you know, television to handheld back to television is really, for me, still fascinates me. And a lot of people have just bought into, hey, I could just take this on the go with me and have incredible high quality gaming and a whole library just right at my fingertips.
Yeah. It's so important, and that's been one of the major selling points. It's like, yeah, I'll play my Switch on the TV, or I'll be like, you know what, I don't feel like getting out of bed. Yoink, you know, just play, and then I could just pop it right back into the dock and just pick up right where I currently am, right where I left off, and just go. It's great.
Yeah.
So, just to backtrack for a second here, we're looking at sales numbers. You want to talk about Mario Odyssey is officially the fastest selling game in Mario history. It came out October 27th. In those 4 days, it became the number one selling game in the country.
How many units did it freaking push?
In those 4 days, over 2 million.
Jesus. And we're not even counting, I mean, we're counting not just physical copies. Are we counting the bundles with that too?
I'm just looking at it says that at the end of October, Mario Odyssey sold 2 million copies. 1.1 million of those were just in the States. So, yeah! So, it's... At one point, somebody did the math. Nintendo was selling 463 copies of Mario Odyssey every minute. So, this was a highly anticipated game, so... It's over the 2 million mark. It's probably going to be either number 1 or number 2 by year's end. It might even beat Breath of the Wild for top-selling Switch game thus far. But, you know... But yeah, it's been a very, very nice 9 months. I have not lost interest in it. I'm still playing it.
Right.
You know, I'm currently, you know, I quote-unquote beat Breath of the Wild. I haven't 100% completed it, but I've put that down. Sonic Mania, just incredible replay value, at least for me.
Yeah, I definitely got my money's worth out of it, although I personally did not have the Switch version. I had the Steam, but it is available for the Switch, I believe at the same price, $20.
Yes!
So.
Yep. Right now, I'm actually currently making my way through what is turning out to be a very, very funny game, and that is Mario and Rabbids Battle for the Mushroom Kingdom.
Kingdom Battle.
Oh, Kingdom Battle, yeah, whatever.
That's been your recent, game to play of late?
Yes, after I spent 99 hours playing Darkest Dungeon on Steam and finally beating that, I needed something a little upbeat. So,
it's for someone who has completely beaten the game outside of the final challenges, I've gotten through like 97% of that game. Where are you at, and your thoughts thus far on Mario Rabbids?
For somebody who doesn't really like strategy RPGs, I am really, really liking this game. The dialogue in this game is has gotten a few good hearty belly laughs out of me, because I told April, I said, this is the game when Nintendo realized it was too self-aware of its own tropes. Like right now, I'm in World 3 right now, so it's been a slow play, simply because I'm in the middle of getting ready to move apartments, so not a whole lot of time for gaming. But right now, just some of the lines that we've had in this game. Bowser Jr. right now has one of the funniest lines I've ever seen in a Nintendo game, telling Mario, "Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got things to do and daddy issues to repress." I went,
It is extremely tongue-in-cheek humor that I would only expect from the writers of Ubisoft. And the fact that, when this first got announced, I rolled my eyes. Like, I was up for a Ubisoft Nintendo joint project, but I wanted Rayman, I didn't want the fucking Rabbids. I wanted, some of Ubisoft's more notable franchises. But there has been no better match, I think, than to have Mario as kind of like this straight-laced character dealing with the antics of the Rabbids. I did not expect it to be so well thought out, and then to just have XCOM-like combat. As someone who's never played XCOM, it's been a really fun experience, and something that makes me go, well, maybe I would want to try XCOM now.
And same. It's like, I'm like, this is a very nice introduction for me to strategy RPGs. It doesn't get too bogged down in its own minutia of gameplay details to be overwhelming. It's in the Mushroom Kingdom, which means that you're going to find a ton of whimsy. And yeah, you have Mario, but the real action is with the Rabbids.
I'm glad that they are useful.
Like, I just got Rabbid Mario, and I'm dying. I laugh my ass off with just how zany some of these characters are. And yes, the dialogue reminds me very much of that same sort of tongue-in-cheek feeling I get from Paper Mario, the later Paper Mario game specifically.
I think I relate it a little more, not to the Paper Mario games, but I relate it more to the Mario and Luigi games.
Okay.
Of kind of that subtle humor with wordplay elements, a little bit of slapstick here and there. It was especially with the Rabbids. And Brian, and I will say this because you, from where you are at the game, you haven't gotten to what I think is the funniest part. So I'm waiting for you to get there. And you will understand when you get there what I mean by that.
I'm sure I will. I mean, and it's been, it's been nicely challenging. I mean, yes, the game does have an option for you to get to do easy mode, but I'm like, no, fuck that noise. I don't want the game.
Easy mode only fills up your HP and then fills up like 50% more above your max. It does not change how hard those Rabbids can hit. And agreed, I don't do the easy mode, but that game is definitely not cakewalk. You really do have to kind of think and strategize your way around. And just that whole gun gameplay, really, I didn't think that would work so well with a Mario game. But I also abused the shit out of Luigi and his awesome sniper rifles, so...
Now, what I'm finding so far in the early going is that I have Rabbid Luigi. I love his vampire ability.
His vampire ability is the vampire alone is just is absolutely dope. Because it's not just damage; it's a status effect, so everyone can get in on healing. Rabbid Luigi ended up being like the best healer in the game, and you have dedicated healers.
Yes, it's like. What? Because for a while I'm just like, okay, I've got Rabbid Peach and regular Peach as well, because regular Peach can heal an area of effect by the jump if you jump on somebody.
But honestly, I personally think it's not that good.
Yeah, I mean, when you first get it, it's very useful, but then later on it becomes, like when Peach actually becomes a playable character and you have to use Peach, it's
yeah,
like for the boss
at least just for one battle, but I really find that there's definitely certain different play styles you have with that game, because there's rifle users, there's sniper rifle users, there's shotgun users, some have rocket launchers, some have rubber duck grenades. No, I did not make that up.
I'm sure.
With sentries and and having all the different kinds of guns and how you can best use your strategies. For me, I kind of just picked the targets apart from afar, really not letting anyone get close. So I really didn't gravitate towards the shotgun users. I liked more my blasters and characters with high mobility.
Yes, and
but I've seen other people play this game, and they gravitate more towards a ground and pound defensive style that use more point blank range shotguns over, staying far back, and that is nice to see that there's more than one way of tackling your various problems.
Yes, and what I have found is that I'm sort of more along the lines of the ground and pound, but it's also situational depending on the battle. Like, I think I speak for maybe everyone who's played this game when to say that the battles in where you have to escort Toad are my least favorite battles, because it's like, oh great, I have to guide this useless character from one end of the board to the other, and oh the enemies, and they keep respawning. Great. So what I like to do for those battles is that Rabbid Peach has the secondary weapon of the RC car.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, okay, I'm going to put that out, but I'm not going to direct it at anybody. I'm just going to, pick a target far away, use that as a decoy while I move Toad along the,
Yeah, and I've used the RC cars even, as defensive tools.
Yes.
Of just having another entity on there. What I typically use them for is, there's an ability in the game for people who may not be familiar with XCOM or whatnot, called Overwatch. And this Overwatch type ability, Mario & Rabbids, they call it something else. I think Villain Sight is, as soon as you move, they're going to take shots at you. And you can soak a lot of damage that way, and it can, hit you with status effects. It may prevent you from moving, may prevent you from firing, may prevent you from doing anything, using your special abilities. So I use those sentries, those RC cars, to kind of, trigger those effects before I move my characters, just as kind of, to kind of pop the effects, so to speak.
Yes, that's it. It's basically a very good use of that. Or if I can't use one of those abilities because it's in a cooldown period, it's like, okay, which of my characters has the most HP? Go. You're going to eat up all of this damage.
Right.
So yes, there are a multitude of play styles and approaches to this game. It's just a situational thing. And, I think the skill trees are great. each character has their own individual traits, which no other character has, which further adds to that level of customization. And so far, I'm really, really liking this. So it's a nice third party game, and so far so good. I mean, I'm trying to build up my Switch's library of games. So, I mean, yes, Sonic Mania did come out on other consoles, but I said, you know what? Let me get it for the Switch. You know, there's that portability factor as well, which is great.
What I ended up getting as far as indie titles are concerned is something called Golf Story, which is...
I've heard of that game.
It's very silly, but it plays very much like the old Mario Golf games. So, and I was itching to just play a Mario Golf title because
yes, we know.
So I did for what, $12-15, something like that. It was worth the investment. Very short, but fix that golf itch. But I'm glad how Nintendo has been handling indie titles. They've handled their major releases. They just seem to have really learned their lessons from the Wii U.
There is a game on my list to buy, which, again, after December 25th, it's called Wolverblade. And I played this game at the last PAX East. I demoed it because it was still in development last March, and it is coming out for PC. But when the Switch came out, the studio decided, you know what, we're gonna do a Switch version first. And Wolverblade is a side-scroller beat 'em up. Think Streets of Rage. But
it's funny you mentioned Streets of Rage, because I was literally watching videos on that like a week ago. So,
but the game is set in ancient Britain, so I really liked playing it at PAX. I'm looking forward to buying this. We obviously got some ports in there. Shovel Knight. Which I did. I broke my own rule about never having more than one copy of the same game. But I love Shovel Knight so damn much that I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm getting it on Switch. Like, I paid peanuts for it when the first game came out on PC 4 years ago. I'll throw them some more money. Also, the fact that I have nephews who love Shovel Knight, and I bought it on my Switch, brought it for Thanksgiving, and they had a blast. So, the remake, the port, I should say, of Skyrim, which I'm guessing, how many of you out there have like 5 or 6 versions of this game now? It seems like.
Eventually, they're going to come out with NES cards of the fucking game.
Don't give Bethesda ideas; they will. And also Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2, which apparently is getting good reviews. Well, I'm like, all right. I mean, I have it for PC. I mean, they're both great games, so great. Knock yourself out. What else do I have? And again, Xenoblade 2, that just came out. I am really looking forward to playing that. I loved the first one. Apparently, it will scratch your JRPG itch.
Which one is that?
Xenoblade 2, Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I kind of just cut out there for a second. I was like, oh, wait, what now?
Yeah.
Apparently, I guess it's very muddled and confusing for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which kind of sounds like the first game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I read the Kotaku review of this game, and I wasn't really thrilled about the review, not because, whatever, but because the person who reviewed the game opened the review by saying that he didn't like Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and the other Xenoblade that came out for the Wii U.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to come in with, you know, a more open mind. I mean, I would be in the same boat of, I've seen the gameplay footage of Xenoblade Chronicles 1. I already know, point blank, that is not for me. And I know that if I play it, I am not going to like it, because it is that active, time-based strategy game, and I am absolutely hot garbage at thinking on the fly. And you throw that in with, you know, very complicated controls, and no one's going to argue that it takes a lot of practice to get good at Xenoblade Chronicles. So to check it and to open with your review with that, I kind of disagree with that. You could still have your problems with the game, and certainly, you know, if you go, for example, on Metacritic, it definitely does not have the greatest scores in the world, and there's definitely a lot of mixed reviews. But at the same time, you're taking the good with the bad. Like any game.
Like any game. And, you know, if somebody says that a Xeno game is confusing, I'm just like, welcome to the Xeno series! I'm like,
that's right, you've played all of Xenosaga, and you just went,
are you
play this again, but I don't have 100 hours.
You know, when you say that, oh, this game is, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is confusing, I'm like, are you new? Have you not played literally any other game that has the Xeno prefix in the title? Confusing is its trademark. Like,
I forgot you've played Xenosaga.
Like, if you manage to play an entire Xeno game and you understand the plot fully 100%, you played it wrong. Like you did Xeno wrong. Like, if at any point during the game you don't go, what the fuck did I just witness? You're doing it wrong. Either that, or you're playing the game while you're high on laudanum. That's the only other thing I can say. So by calling a Xenoblade game confusing, I'm just like, well, good for you! Welcome to the franchise! So, I'm really looking forward to playing it. That is definitely on my buy if I don't get it. Also, a game that it's been out, I just haven't picked it up, is Splatoon 2. Now, Nick, I know you've played that.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of it. It's very much like the first game. But, Brian, imagine, 4v4 squads, but your main objective is not to eliminate the enemy team. That the objective is to cover as much turf in your color as possible in a 3-minute time limit. It's such a quirky take on a shooter that it really is quite enjoyable of just seeing some of the ridiculousness that can come out of it. Like, oh, look, you have an umbrella that shoots ink. But it also is a protective barrier. Now, granted, because of my crazy hectic schedule, I have not played this nearly as much as I would like. I think I'm still only at level 8. Some people are at, like, level fucking 40. But I will say I enjoyed my time with Splatoon 2. It's just, I know I'm going to be an eternal scrub.
So it goes. I mean, there's games that I really want to play, and I will eventually get. I mean, ARMS. I don't know if I'm going to pick up the 8th incarnation of Street Fighter 2.
As someone who is not a big fighting game person, I understand the appeal of Street Fighter 2 because of how iconic it is and really brought fighting games to the forefront. But let the thing die! Let it die its sweet death!
For fuck's sake!
It's like seeing like an 80-year-old horse and it's still trying to walk. It's just... You feel bad for it. You know it's had a good life and you just want to put it down like Gold Yeller. Because you know it's the best thing for it.
Well.
Although, speaking of fighting games, I've heard in the pipelines that there may be Soul Calibur 6 for the Switch.
Interesting.
So, and, I mean, you and I both played the shit out of Soul Calibur 2.
Yes!
So...
I mean, I still have it.
So, it's one of those interesting notes of, keep that in mind.
That's a maybe. I still have my copy of Soul Calibur 2, and that ain't going anywhere.
Didn't they try to re-release Soul Calibur 2 for, like, some of the systems, and it just wasn't the same because I don't think you had the exclusive characters?
I honestly don't know.
Something along those lines. I don't quite remember that. But anyway, yeah, Street Fighter 2 on Switch, it's... I had that moment of, why? Just why?
Like, just... I don't know.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so I think this is a good place to cut to break. And on our second half, we will talk about what is on the horizon for the Switch for 2018. We will talk about what downloadable content has planned for 2018 as well, once we've wrapped up the Nintendo chat. But in the meantime, you have some music. I will play a few rounds online of Mario Kart 8 and get my ass handed to me. It'll be good. It'll be good. You are listening to the Season 7 finale of Downloadable Content with Nick and I. We'll be back. Welcome back to our Season 7 finale of downloadable content talking about the Switch. Nick and I are still here. Haven't gone anywhere.
Yep. Nowhere at all.
Nowhere at all.
We've been here for the entire 15 minutes while you've been listening to music.
You're listening to fine, wonderful music. So... yeah, we were talking about a lot of the games in the first half and all the great things that Nintendo has done with the Switch and all of that. So, we'll keep that discussion going. We'll also talk about what is on the horizon for Nintendo as we get into 2018, because, there have been some very recent announcements as well as to, new games coming out, But before I dive into that, something that came to my head during the intermission, in the last software update, in the last system update for the Switch, they added support for the GameCube controller adapter.
Yeah.
Which
I mean, it means that we're going to get GameCube Virtual Console more than likely, which is great. But the other thing it does is that it gives another GameCube controller support for Smash Brothers, which I'm so sick of hearing. I am sick of people declaring the GameCube controller for Smash like the God-given gospel and not willing to try anything else. Seriously, you don't want to, there are better designed controllers.
Interesting you say that, because that definitely puts you in the minority, probably.
No, that definitely puts me in the minority.
Okay.
There is no maybe on that one.
Okay. I mean, just for my money, I always like to use the system's default controller whenever I start a new Smash game.
Same.
And
I just get used to it.
Yeah.
I learned to deal with the learning curves, because I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for others. But over time, I beat the shit out of my controllers. My GameCube controllers, the controller sticks kind of like they don't stay in the middle. They kind of wobble all around.
That's like you've worn them out so much that they are a part of you now.
So I have to keep using newer and newer controllers. And do you have any idea how hard it is to find old retro controllers that actually work? It's very fucking hard.
Yes, I mean, and I think also, yes, when I saw that they were adding GameCube support for the Switch, that was my first thought, was we're getting a Smash game. Either
more likely a port of Melee. Because competitively, that's still the game that gets played. Not Smash 4, not Brawl, not the hack, Project M. It's Melee.
Yeah, and that's the thing, that Super Smash Brothers is a very popular esports title, and the GameCube controller is the controller du jour for that game. So, I would be very happy with a port of Smash 4.
Honestly, I don't see that happening.
Really? You don't see that? We got Mario Kart 8. Why would you think that?
Because for that very reason, Mario Kart 8 was announced. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was announced the day that the Switch was pretty much unveiled back in that January conference.
Yep.
If Smash 4 was going to be ported to the Switch, Nintendo would have said something already.
All right.
After 9 months, they would have at least, even if there was nothing added to it, they could have done like the Metroid Prime 4 announcement. Just say, hey, it's coming. We don't fucking know when, but it would be on the way. We're working on it. We're building the port. Because I don't see Nintendo doing like what Valve does and just be like, oh yeah, we have this announcement and it's out today. Nintendo just never struck me as that kind of a company to do something like that.
I can see your point.
So I think the next Smash we see is, I mean, obviously Melee for the Virtual Console, everything, But if it's going to be a Switch title, I think it's going to be Smash 5.
All right, I can certainly see that line of logic. I was thinking along the lines of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe being a sort of test for Nintendo to see how well that port sold, and then they would go, okay, this one sold a bajillion copies, let's go ahead and do one for Smash. But you might be right. We could be seeing Melee, or that might be a hint that there's going to be a Smash 5.
And that would be my ultimate gap. My best bet is, I think Melee will come out probably sometime in 2018, if I had to guess. I think Virtual Console's not that far away. I mean, we're already starting to get arcade titles at this point, so I think it's slowly being rolled in. And Melee, I think, will be one of the earliest titles once they announce, hey, here's the GameCube Virtual Console library, and here's probably the premier title in that initial batch. I would say between that, Mario Sunshine, and Luigi's Mansion, maybe Prime 1, I would say that's going to be like the initial rollout. And then, that will be the timing over until we eventually get Smash 5. Probably closer to the end of the Switch cycle.
But, now that we have GameCube support, and also they rolled out Hulu in their last update as well. Now, I know that initially, we both know that initially when the Switch was announced last year, that the fact that it wasn't initially coming with Netflix, Hulu, and all the other media streaming stuff that is on the other two consoles, initially that caused some consternation, and I remember both of us saying at the time in our first episode this year that we thought that actually wasn't really, we thought that not having Netflix and Hulu right out of the gate was actually a pretty good thing, so that Nintendo could focus on their core, what they actually want the system to accomplish, and after some time going, okay, we can start rolling this out.
Right.
And so now we've got Hulu, so which makes me wonder if there's going to be Netflix coming along as well, as they try to make Switch a little bit more of that sort of all-in-one media, or not. I mean, the Switch can only handle so much. It is not that type of powerhouse that the PS4 and the Xbox One are, which are basically PCs. Yeah.
I'm a little curious to see what eventually comes out with all of this, with especially with Hulu. Do I really see this as being like the beginning of the opening of the floodgates for Netflix, Crunchyroll, and all the other television apps? Maybe, but it should never be Nintendo's prime focus. It should be about the games. And but portable anime will definitely sell. That's for sure.
Well, yes. I mean, I'm not a big anime fan, but yeah, I mean, there are definitely markets for those. I just don't know if the Switch will be, fully capable of that, but, I didn't buy a Switch because I wanted to watch Netflix or Hulu on it, so.
Yeah.
I mean, if I want to do that, I still have my PS3 for that.
Right.
So, alright, moving ahead to 2018. Now, this is the fun part. This is where we get to play prognosticator. We get to be every single sports talk show host and guess what Nintendo is going to do for 2018. We have some announcements already.
Mm-hmm.
We have, starting right off the bat, Kirby Star Allies.
Yep, that looks. I mean, I kind of called that when it was announced. Like, because it was announced at E3, and I kind of figured, like, we were just about due for a Kirby title. And I was glad to be correct, and it just looks like it's going to be an absolute blast to play. I imagine it's going to be, I think they said spring 2018, so I would say March or April is when we're going to expect to see this, and that will be where all my spare time goes.
Oh, yes, you and Kirby are like best bros. It's a...
There's a few game series that, it's just like, I will continue to buy these titles and know that I will enjoy them. Mario is one, Kirby is another of just, I rarely get a bad title out of Kirby. I think the only one where I kind of was very mad about was Canvas Curse and those type of Kirby games.
Yeah, for you, the Kirby is definitely one of those franchises that's just like, yep, I'm buying it.
Well, then they showed the return of the cleaning power-up from Kirby's Dream Land 3, which I thought was a very underrated power. Good to see that come back. And Yo-Yo, which was one of my favorites in Superstar, so I'm glad that's coming back. And then there's Power Fusion, which is also a really... it's something we haven't seen since Squeak Squad and Crystal Shards, so interesting to see how Nintendo will take that direction.
Yeah, I haven't played a main Kirby title since, what the hell, Epic Yarn. And that game reduced me to just a whimpering pile of cute because of just how adorable Epic Yarn is. It's like watching a puppy. I saw a announcement for Shin Megami Tensei 5.
I never played those kind of games, so I really don't know what they're really about, but anyone that I seem to talk to that knows a bit about that series or Persona is jumping up and down, giddy excited, so I'm guessing that's a good thing. I believe Atlas makes them, so
yes.
So Strange will definitely be its middle name if it's an Atlas title.
A game that I am looking forward to. We don't have a specific release date yet. We just know that it's 2018, and because of that, subject to change. Dragon Quest XI.
Yay!
I love it.
The Switch version is confirmed, right? I know the 3DS ones are confirmed, and there's a PS4 version, but I didn't hear anything about a Switch version.
It is confirmed. But as for a release date, they just said 2018, and because this is Square, we don't know for sure. It would be nice to see. It's nice to see a Dragon Quest game come back to Nintendo. I know we have we have now.
Well, we had Dragon Quest 9 and 10. 9 was DS exclusive. 10 never made it to the States.
That's because 10's an MMO, which I hate when Square does that.
Yeah, agreed. And then they re-released 7 and 8 for the 3DS.
Yes, they did.
And that was my first time playing Dragon Quest 7 on the 3DS, and very fun game, but holy fucking shit, I will not play that game again. It's way too goddamn long.
Oh, you mean 100 hours of main story wasn't thrilling? God, I remember playing that on the PlayStation 1, and by the time I was reaching the end, I'm just like, please, for the love of God, let it end. End. Are you over? End. That game was way too long for its own good. Good game, but about 40 hours.
Holy shit, that game is long.
But about 40 hours too long.
I think I played 2 hours before I got into the first goddamn random battle. Holy shit. Dragon Quest VIII is another extremely long 100-hour game, but at least you kind of get into that a lot faster.
let me see if this game is... Oh, yeah, it's not out yet. It's a port. Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus.
It's very interesting that Bethesda is like releasing a lot of these games out for the Switch. We just had Doom come out for the Switch, and it's just like, wait, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed Doom. I loved the new Doom as someone who, up to that point, never played the Doom franchise, but it was just one of those, And then to just see, all right, Skyrim, okay, the 40th billionth version of Skyrim, okay, and then Wolfenstein. I hear good things about it. I may invest into it. I don't know. I mean, you're fighting Nazis. That's that's already. It's like, okay, points.
Yeah, and I okay. Just as an aside, the ad campaign for Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, they gave no fucks, and and you know the whining crybaby alt-right who were just like, hey, no, and I'm like, dude, have you never played a Wolfenstein game?
That's A. Like, seriously, Wolfenstein's been around since the early 90s. That's its basis.
Yeah, that's, you know, and I'm even gonna go back further before you continue with B. You said Wolfenstein, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. The first Wolfenstein game came out in 1981.
Oh. Well, today I learned.
Originally, it was Castle Wolfenstein, released in 1981 for the Apple II.
Man.
Yeah.
Have you ever played those Apple IIs? Those were something else.
So for the entire existence of this franchise, it has always been kill Nazis. Always!
And here's the thing. You know, it's like that one comedian has said. I can't remember the comedian, and maybe add that in post or something. But you know, the good thing about a Nazi joke is you can make Nazi jokes, and if anyone gets offended by a Nazi joke, guess what?
Hey, thank you for identifying yourself. Punch. But yeah, the fact that people, you know, offended by the Wolfenstein 2 trailers and commercials, then Bethesda doubled down on it.
Well, yeah. Because Bethesda actually has common sense.
So, this series, which has been in existence now for 36 years, that has been their entire premise, and, you know, so, okay, I deviated. What was B?
No, I already said B.
Okay. Do you have a C?
No.
Okay. So, and just interesting to see, you know, to branch off of that, third parties getting in on the Switch action. Ubisoft, Bethesda.
Yeah, I think Ubisoft is putting Steep on the Switch, which also looked interesting. Yeah, EA with the FIFA games.
Oh, well, you could count the seconds until EA got on that gravy train. I've heard
2K, Rockstar, they just re-released LA Noire on the Switch.
Yes. We are getting... I've heard some whispers about a new Fire Emblem.
Well, there's Fire Emblem Warriors out now, which is very much like Dynasty Warriors meets Fire Emblem. Kind of like Hyrule Warriors.
Okay. For some reason, I thought I heard some whispers about a brand new Fire Emblem game coming out.
I would say if we don't get, you know, the next Nintendo Direct, which I think is set for later this December or next year, early next year, if we don't start seeing trailers for it, I will be very, very surprised. I think we're going to get one sooner than later.
More whispers about a core Pokemon game for the Switch.
In the no surprises category, they will, obviously gotta let Sun and Moon run its course, but I would say 2019, 2020, definitely realistic goals.
Let's see. Soul Calibur 6 is a question. That would be fun.
I mean, that's the rumors and whispers. I honestly don't know. Because we don't even know if Soul Calibur 6 is a thing yet. But, you listen to every rumor mill, it's like, yeah, it's definitely a thing. Namco's been working on it for a while. And it's like, yeah, but 4 and 5 weren't really that great. So what are they going to do with 6 that will, kind of bring it back to the glory days?
No idea.
No idea.
No idea.
Who knows?
And obviously, Nintendo's going to, have a presence at E3 in some respects.
Well, they usually have like a couple core games and then just their conference not conference. Metroid Prime 4, obviously. That was one of those, kind of figured it was going to be on the way. We don't know anything else about it, we just know it exists.
Yeah, it's one of those, it's like, yeah, it's a thing, right? Right, guys? Guys!
That's all we get, a teaser image, that's it.
Yep, just like, poke. Let's see. I just had it. Oh yeah, I've been seeing more and more about this Project Octopath.
So, you actually have not played the Bravely Default series, have you not?
I have not.
Okay. So, it's made by that development team. And supposedly it is a Bravely Default style RPG or JRPG with kind of a like a reserve point action system, very much like Bravely Default, but it has kind of like 8 different storylines, kind of very much like Seiken Densetsu 3 for the Super Nintendo, where you could kind of pick your own character and they each have their own story. They may mix around with other characters at some point. And each one has a unique, like, action. Like, one can challenge to duels. The other can be, like, an escort. Quote-unquote. And that's really all I know about it. I did not try the demo. But that seems to be, like, Square's next big retro JRPG project. So it would be interesting to see. I'm big on multiple storyline games, especially if it's going to take like 40 hours to get through one storyline. I'm not going to play the game 8 times to see all 8 different paths and how they intersect, or God forbid if there's like a 9th true ending path, it'll be like, shoot me now. But if it's 10, 15 hours of story, okay. You might have my interest. It depends on a lot of different factors, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, I mean, I kind of agree. I'm not really a big fan of games that you're forced to replay it over and over and over again to get the full experience or the true.
Or if you do things like that, have the game be largely the same, kind of like 7th Saga. Something like that.
That is true, yeah. But oh yeah, there's also the adorable Yoshi game.
Oh yeah, the one where I go, I need to beat Woolly World.
I saw the trailer for that, and I'm just like, oh great! This is gonna give me the same sort of reaction as Kirby's Epic Yarn did. I'm just gonna be like, gonna want to reach out and pet it.
It looks like they have the red coin system back again, and it's gonna be like, oh good, that'll be some more gray hairs on my head.
It's like I'm gonna get that for the Switch. I'm just gonna pet the screen. It's like it's so cute. But Nintendo looks like it's got some pretty solid. It's got some solid releases due up in 2018. I don't think we're gonna see a radio silence.
No, I think Nintendo is aiming for that major game a quarter type of approach. And I think it's going to be a very successful business model for them. They know that it's not going to be everyone's main game of, main system of choice. And Nintendo has decided to make it more of a supplemental system rather than your primary system. And I think that's the smart way to go about it. And just have, a couple games here and there and just be like, okay, they'll buy it for a month or two. Maybe sprinkle a couple indie titles when the virtual console hits, you'll have a few games there and just keep doing it in that style and that, method of steady games coming out. That will be what drives Nintendo to success.
And so far, that's what they've been doing. So we're gonna keep our fingers crossed and keep on playing. I'm really, really pleased in the direction that Nintendo is going in. It's very clear that they've got a path forward and not just. Because it really felt like with the Wii U they were winging it. It really did.
I think they were just trying to cash in on that whole Wii name thing and just didn't. The name was wrong. The system had enough punch to it. Everything was very gimmicky. They tried to force the gimmick. It really didn't work. And in letting companies kind of just more or less do what they want, I think is going to be the way that they're going to find success. Is just wonderful things happen when you let the developers have the freedom to design it the way they want to design it.
Yeah, and yeah, it's just. And speaking of one more game, now I always forget, and it's just me. I forget that Sega makes other games besides Sonic.
Because we talk about Sonic Forces.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking of, because I saw this on Facebook, on Nintendo's Facebook, Valkyria Chronicles 4.
Yeah, I would have to do some research to find out what Valkyria Chronicles is, but it seems to have pop up a lot recently, especially with the 3DS with Project Cross Zone and having characters from that series make an appearance. So seems to be regaining some traction. So I'll take a flyer on it.
It is a tactical RPG, and
that kills it right there.
It's like. Well, I mean,
I am not a TRPG person. I fail miserably at micromanaging.
Well, you were just talking. We talked about in the first half how much we both loved Mario and Rabbids. So
it's thumbs down. Okay. There's a whole lot less micromanaging in Mario Rabbids.
Okay.
Do I grab something like Disgaea? That's micromanaging to the 11th degree.
Fair enough. All right. Point taken.
Tactical RPGs are, I like them. It's like playing Dungeons and Dragons, but when it's like, here's everything that you and your characters can do in the game, and they hand you a 600-page novel, and you're like, All
right. Okay. I get it. So, but yeah, so it's like, yeah, I'm looking at the releases for 2018. Oh, that's right. Sega makes other games.
All right. Well, Sega also had that, Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Yes. I was like, okay,
I forget that's also a thing. It's like, oh yeah, Sega does make other games.
Oopsie. So yes, Nintendo. I'm very confident, and Nick as well. Very confident about what Nintendo's got in store for 2018. It looks like there's going to be something for everybody.
Oh yeah, they make Yakuza as well.
Yeah. I should get out more. Really, it's really, it's just like, I know I'm a Nintendo fanboy, but this is embarrassing. It's been playing too much Sonic Mania, but all right. So the last thing we will talk about on our season finale is what is in store for downloadable content for 2018. As we we've been
spoilers, more podcasts.
Shut up, Nick. They don't know that. This is a very fine, sophisticated program, you see. So we've got. I know Ronnie wants to do an episode. He wants to guest host an episode talking about forced obsolescence in video games.
Define obsolescence.
It's going to be a wide-ranging discussion, but I know some of it involves like talking about games that, say, for example, have like an online component, and then developers shut those servers down, thus rendering your game unplayable and or useless.
Oh, the obsolescence. Now, the process of becoming obsolete or outdated and no longer used. Okay. So, every Call of Duty game ever.
No.
Hey, this game was relevant for a year. Now we have a new game, and this game no longer matters.
I mean, yes. But, yeah, Nick will be here all week, ladies and gentlemen. Let's try the veal. But when developers make it so that you can't play a game anymore.
Right. I think I understand what you're talking about in terms of that, of just eventually people don't want to pay the upkeep server costs anymore. They actually want to move on to a different freaking project. I get it, but it's a fine line to walk sometimes.
So I know that he's doing research and planning out this episode. We have, of course, because we are downloadable content, we have a block of anniversary episodes that we're going to be doing. I haven't finalized them yet, but there's some ideas floating around. So, are you ready to feel old, Nick?
No, but you're going to tell me anyway.
Yeah, okay. So, hitting the 20-year anniversary mark next year, we have Xenogears.
That makes sense.
Yeah, keep in mind now that we're reaching the point where PlayStation 1 titles are hitting the 20-year mark.
Yeah.
So, we got Xenogears, so we're probably either going to do, if I do that, either just the game itself, or...
You're probably going to do the series. Come on, let's be honest.
Well, yes, because, I really don't like Xenogears, and we'll probably try to move on as quick as possible. Which means I gotta get cracking and replay the Xenosaga trilogy.
Oh, good luck.
I've done it once before.
200 hours of Brian's life.
Yep.
Gone,
right there. Out of existence. Resident Evil 2.
didn't we already just do a Resident Evil anniversary series
episode? We did 5 years ago.
It was 5 years ago.
5 or 6 years ago, yeah. Or even longer than that.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, like I said, time moves strangely. This one I really, really want to do. Parasite Eve.
You know, I had never heard of Parasite Eve until I saw someone do, like, a Let's Play on it. And, yeah, it was kind of... it's kind of corny to look at it now, but back in, like, the PS1 era, I'm sure that was some scary-ass shit.
To me, Parasite Eve is one of the most underrated PS1 games. It was Square's answer to Resident Evil. Because it was basically a survival horror RPG.
Yeah.
And I loved the first game. The second game was good, but not as good. And the third game I won't even touch. But... So that game Parasite Eve turns 20 next year. Spyro the Dragon.
Poor Spyro. I loved the original PlayStation series when I was a kid. And even the PS2 ones were good. But now he's been relegated to Skylanders roles, and not even a major one at that. I feel bad for it.
Yeah, I kind of feel similarly. I feel like Spyro got Sonicked.
Yes.
Like, after the successes of the original games, they were basically like, okay, now what do we do with them?
Yeah. Because you were mentioning Spyro, I was thinking like, oh, then Crash Bandicoot should be 20 years old too. No, he's 22.
He can drink.
Fuck.
Crash Bandicoot can drink. Yeah?
It was game series released in 1998.
Metal Gear Solid is also on that list.
For fuck's sake.
Metal Gear... Now, we did an anniversary series, I think, back in Season 1 of the franchise when it turned 20 or 25. But Metal Gear Solid itself turns 20, so we might be doing just that game.
Final Fantasy Tactics is 20.
Oh, if that happens, I'm going to let Wyatt guest host that one.
Gran Turismo is 20.
Yes, it is.
How?
Yep.
That would be something I'd have to talk to my roommate about because he was huge on that series.
I do enjoy playing Gran Turismo from time to time. I mean, there's like only two... I'm not a big racing game fan, so it's like, for me, it's either Gran Turismo or Mario Kart. There is no in between. What? It's like I either have to go super realistic or balls to the wall whimsy.
Oh, here's one if you want to do do an anniversary episode. Dance Dance Revolution is 20.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, all right. I don't know how I would make like an hour and a half long episode out of that, but all right.
Banjo-Kazooie is 20.
Yes! That was next on my list.
Okay. What's 25?
I have two of them. But you're feel free to go ahead and look. One of Nintendo's underrated franchises, Star Fox.
Yeah. Which has been getting a lot of... Yeah. It kind of fell off the map, didn't it?
Star Fox...
Doom is 25.
Yep. Star Fox is on... Doom's on that list. Also, one of the most top-selling PC games of all time, Myst.
I probably should play Myst, huh?
I really enjoy it. It would be considered by today's standards a quote-unquote walking simulator. But I really... It's a lot of puzzle. You really have to use your head in that game. There's a lot of thinking and puzzle solving in that game, but it is so good. So good, in fact, that I picked up on the most recent Steam sale, I picked up Real Mist, which is Mist, but dragged into the 21st century, because good luck trying to run a Windows 95 game on Windows 10.
We have Ninja Gaiden is 30.
Holy shit, really? I did not see that.
Let's see. John Madden Football is 30.
Boom!
Brett Favre. Let's see. I think that's all the biggest ones.
I feel bad for Star Fox, though, because, that's like Star Fox and Metroid are like the two franchises that Nintendo really doesn't give a whole lot of airtime to.
Well, I know Metroid is not nearly as big in Japan as it is in America. Just flat out.
Really?
Yeah, it's not very popular in Japan. It's really... The reason why we're really more or less getting Metroid games now is because the U.S. fans kept demanding it.
Yeah, just taking a brief look at the Star Fox franchise. In 25 years, there has only been 9 games. There are only 9 Star Fox games.
Yeah? Oh no. Oh, I'm fucking old.
Now he says.
So, this is a little before my time, but 1983, so this would be 35.
Yes.
Little Mac is 35 next year.
Oh, wow.
Punch-Out came out in 1983. Bomberman is 1983.
Holy shit.
Let's
nice.
See. Any others that I'm seeing? A lot of, no shit, Atari games.
Yeah, the original Punch-Out. Japan 1983, and then got ported over to NES in 1987. Nice.
So what's 2003 then? So what's 15?
Now we're getting
now I'm interested.
Now 2003, that puts you into PS2 territory, or yeah. Maybe even early PS3. No, I don't think so. No.
A lot of sequels.
Yep. Oh no! We're very much into PS2 territory. PS3 didn't come out until 2006. That's a little early for PS3. No, there we go. So yeah, we've got some anniversary episodes in store. Again, I haven't finalized anything yet.
Beautiful Joe is 15.
I've never played Beautiful Joe.
That was a fun, quirky platformer beat 'em up. Clover Studios did a lot of really neat shit. Too bad Capcom shut them down. Call of Duty is 15.
How that series has remained relevant. It's basically...
Beyond Good and Evil is 15.
Aw, baby games. How cute.
The Mario and Luigi series is 15.
That's so precious. So yeah, we've got some anniversary titles on the slate. There are a couple of newsworthy items. I know that I've been entertaining the idea of doing an episode based just talking about the game Undertale.
Now, well, I won't be involved in that.
So for good or bad. So
you're going to be talking quite a bit of both. I won't be shocked if that ends up being another 3-hour podcast for you. Yeah. I apologize in advance.
We'll see. Again, nothing is decided, and it will be decided again probably late December, early January, when I put up the first batch of recordings for 2018. So if any of you out there have any ideas, anything you want us to talk about, though, you can let us know. So we've done fan suggested episodes. So please feel free to drop us a line. What do you want us to yak about? And hell, maybe even come on. We are always open to anyone and everyone who wants to come on and join us on an episode. So
you sound like a bar, Brian. Come on in. Everyone's invited.
I can't. I mean, yes. Come on in. Relax. Make yourself at home. Here, have a gin. But, just since we're winding this down now, I mean, let us know. dlcpodcast.com. Click the feedback button. Let us know. Give us some ideas. Agree, disagree, add to a discussion. There's definitely going to be the 3 free play episodes for next year. Those are always great. I love doing those.
So that just begs my next question. When are we just going to completely do that live and unscripted?
I'm think that when I move into my new apartment at the end of this month, I am seriously thinking about, and it's an idea that I've had in my head for some time, seeing if am able to do for the free play episodes, just completely live, and whatever happens.
Well, because a lot happens when we're between sessions of just the craziest bullshit happens.
It does, and to experience our zany live without edits,
without fixing this in post.
Yeah, there is no we'll fix this in post. It's what you hear is what you get. So I'm gonna see if we can make that a reality for season 8. Again on the free play episodes at least, and see where we go from there. Don't know how yet I'll pull it off, but if any of you have ideas on how we can actually do that, let us know. Again, every single episode of downloadable content is on our website. It's also on iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, Google Play Music. They're not going anywhere.
Are you going to do SoundCloud next? Is that the next target, Brian?
I did look, and actually, if I were to do that, I would actually have to pay money for that.
Oh, well, okay.
And
suddenly we just see that flying off the roof.
Yeah, before season 7, I looked into putting downloadable content on SoundCloud, but for episodes that are this length, we're looking at now an hour and a half, 2-hour long episodes, they want money, and I'm like, well, no, toodaloo. So, yeah, it's been a great year for downloadable content all around. Nick, you were on quite a lot of episodes this year.
What did I stand at? I didn't think I was on that much.
Let's see. You started this year.
I know I did the Switch episode with you guys. I did E3. Obviously, I did this one. What the fuck else did I do?
This is your 7th episode for this year.
Doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, you were on 7. You did the season opener. You did the vaporware episode.
Oh yes, I do remember that.
You and I did the Kirby 25th anniversary, and the Mario Kart 25th anniversary. You were on the second Switch episode.
You had a second Switch episode? This one, duh.
No, this is the third.
Wait, what?
Yeah. All right. Lay off the booze, Nick!
I haven't been drinking! That's the sad part!
We started this year with the Switch before it was released. Then
we did Afterwork, right?
Then we did one that was our first impressions on the Switch, and now this one. Do try and keep up.
Oh my god. I know it's only been like a year, but it feels like it's been like 7.
Well,
that has 2017 in a nutshell.
Well, that's the Trump administration for you. We're all experiencing that. 1 year is equal to 25 in Trump time. I get it.
Holy shit. This has been a really long year for yours truly.
Yeah, so you are going to end this year having been on 34 total episodes out of 141.
That's still a mere fraction compared to Ron.
Well, yeah, you're going to end, what did I say, 34? 35. You're going to end with 35. Yeah, but that puts you in second place to Ron's 98.
I mean, I got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, he's going to have to go on sabbatical for years if you ever help to catch up.
Well, because I was on sabbatical for years. Come on.
Yes, but you are in second with 35 out of 141 total episodes. So, thank you actually very much for being on these episodes. I mean, you're a very, very good panelist. It's always a ton of fun.
I try my best, and because I went through, for people who may not know me that well, I went through a major, depressive episode. Really was losing my way in life, didn't want to do anything, didn't even want to game. And it was really just kind of a bad time. And as I was starting to recover and starting to learn more about myself and kind of get out of this funk more or less, a friend of mine, a coworker, yeah, he is a friend of mine, just kind of said, let me just stop doing your friend's podcast. And I kind of said, great question. And it's been such a revitalized journey for me, and kind of gave me my own ideas, maybe to do something for myself down the road. Maybe lay the groundwork for maybe some of my own work instead of just leeching off Brian all the damn time. Well,
I am here. I am here to be leeched off of. So
that sounds like some freaky BDSM, man.
Whatever goes on behind closed doors. But yes, it not only does it remain for me to thank you, but definitely also, my right-hand man, Ron, for being on this now 7-year journey here. I just started this as just some way to talk to my friends about video games and the video game industry because it's a ton of fun. I love doing it, and I still love doing it. And now this idea has morphed into 141 episodes and 7 years.
With plenty of medical problems in between.
Yeah, medical problems, college. So, I mean, not only, just going down the list.
I think it's probably one of the few things keeping you sane after all these years.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So,
But seriously, it's one of the, as much as we love playing games, we love talking about games, and we wouldn't be doing this otherwise.
Yes. So, that is really the crux of it. So, again, thank you, Nick, very much. Thank you, Ron. I know you're not there, but you're probably going to wind up listening to this, so...
You're there with us in spirit.
He's there with us in spirit, so, And all the panelists that we've had this year, we have had you, we've had Ron, we've had Tanya from Kisareth, we've had Reed, we have our Captain N, Doug, we have Gabe, we had Andy, we have Shanna, Michelle, we have our resident Brit, Joshi, we have Ben, I mentioned, we have Andy, Ryan, the brothers Wallace. Who else came on? Yes, some of Gabe's friends. We had Rich, we had Bree, we have Dylan. We had
Did Wyatt jump on it this year, or was it last?
Wyatt, he was next in my list. Wyatt was on an episode or two. We've had my friend Jeremiah from Bombad Radio. Again, Ronnie and Deja. You know, we've had a good chunk of people coming on this year. I think I got everybody. I think if
did we get any newcomers? I can't
remember. We did. We had a couple of people making their first appearances this year.
Which brings like your total panel count to like, you know, some ridiculously high number, like something like 30 some odd people. Been a lot of people coming and going over 7 years.
You know, we've had Ben. Ben has been on. It's so to all of the panelists who have come on Downloadable Content this year or any other year, thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure, and I hope to see all of you again next year. And also, fresh meat. Fresh meat is always what we need. Now
you're sounding like Hannibal Lecter.
You know, just feed the Downloadable Content machine. It needs fresh blood to continue going, but it's been a blast. So, from all of us here at Downloadable Content, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Enjoy all the new games that you're gonna get this holiday season. Play them all. I'll be doing the same, and we will see you again in January. So on that note, I am Brian Williams. Have a wonderful holiday, New Year. See you then.